can you truly fly? He sets down his fork, blinking. So she's like, and she's like, can you fly? And he's like, you're talking to me. Yeah, I can fly. She's like, it might even call it self-conscious. Like, is he blushing? He's like, oh, the girl's talking to me. The pretty one's talking to me. Hold on. Let me give you my attention. No game, Azriel. Welcome back to the Book Breathing Bitch Queens podcast. I'm Sam.
And I'm Allie. And this week we're jumping into chapter 24. This is the dinner.
The most awkward dinner in the world.
Yeah, we get to meet everybody and everyone's getting to know each other. And that's always fun. We get our first interactions between the Bat Boys and the sisters, some interesting reflection, and some flirting here at the end as we go to bed. We write the letter, and I think it ends with them just like going to bed. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So lots of really interesting things, and then 25 to 27 are also going to be very quick. Things are about to get a little heated after.
Super interesting.
Mm-hmm. I just noticed a couple different stained golden is an interesting color for the sky, particularly because she's talking about, finding the Bat Boys waiting. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. To me, it feels like a little bit of symbolic optimism. There's also another line about gold here about their hair, the girl sister's hair or something. And I don't know if that means anything, but I always note interesting colors like that. Mm-hmm. My first note after that was, she says, my sister Elaine can convince anyone to do anything with a few smiles. And I was like, hey, so we're going to see a few smiles in book 6?
I was like, what do you mean she could do anything with a few smiles? I'm like, okay, are we going to get a cunning, manipulative Elaine?
Yeah, probably.
It's like Nesta and Elaine are like good cop, bad cop energy.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh, totally.
Which is interesting because Cassian and Azriel are playing that same thing right now. Because Azriel is like Mr. Mind His Manners. And Cassian's like, because you're a bitch.
Yeah. Which is funny because, I think Azriel is the one who interrogates the Ator, like, viciously. So it's going to be like interesting. Like Feyre is like noting here, wow, he's so polite, he's so kind. Mm-hmm. And then I think she sees it from his perspective, like the fucked up torturing, right? So interesting Azriel duality here.
There's a really interesting about winnowing and Azriel in the next chapter that I cannot wait.
Especially since you are fresh in Crescent City.
Yep, right on in the thick of it.
What was that thing you were going to send me the screenshot of? Should you rehash that really quick? The theory? What is it?
Oh, where it's confirmed that Rhys is Starborn.
Yes. Okay. Say it real quick.
So Selene, who is the younger daughter of Thea, when Bryce enters into Prythian and they're on their little underground trek through Prythian, through the tunnels that nobody knows about, they go to the room where the harp was, and there Bryce uses her magic to summon the hologram of Selene. And then Selene gives us chapter after chapter after chapter of exposition, which is fine.
I thought that was a crazy exposition dump. Yeah, but whatever.
But yeah, so at some point, so she's talking about the war. She's talking about her mom giving them the harps and the blades and the blah blah blahs, and that she opened up a portal from Midgard, and she runs into it to go back home to the Dusk Court, which is also confirmed. She went home to the Dusk Court. She went home to the palace in the Dusk Court, which was the prison. The prison was their home, their palace. And she gets there, and then she turns, like, so that she can protect herself, she has to erase the memory of Thea. And so she turns the palace into a prison and starts hunting in the middle and putting fucked up creatures into the prison. And she sinks the dust court basically, and hides it all. And then it says,
Okay.
she says, I won't go into the story of how I married the son of a High Lord, the High Lord of the Night Court. So Celine goes on to bag herself a big baddie. And then she says, and when that boy glowed with starlight, nobody questioned where it came from. Nobody knew that it was my starlight, my starborn powers from the Dusk Court, that this land called to him. And then she went to the palace and she warded the palace to his blood. And so she's confirmed that her son has the star, like the stars are the starborn power. And then immediately after that, Nesta turns to Azriel and goes, does Rhys know this? And Azriel says, no, but we need to tell him.
How do we forget that?
Because it's in the middle of 4 chapters of such thick exposition. And we were reading it for the first time for shits and giggles.
Damn.
Yeah.
So that's
confirmation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which also means that his power should, like, so Bryce at some point, she realizes that her power, her starborn power, especially when she steals the rest of the power from, so she has her own power now, because there's a nugget of Celine's power that she buried into the prison, and using the harp, I believe, from it, because the harp can transfer power, and Bryce calls upon that power from way down deep in the area, and she takes it into herself, so she doesn't need to be fucking supercharged anymore. She has her own power, which is Celine's power. And then she can call to the land, and she makes the prison like shoot spikes and whatever. Like she shifts the land of the prison. And Azriel and Nesta are like, can you stop? You're gonna let all these fucking people out, you psycho bitch. And she realizes, like, I am the rightful heir to that land. That is my land to control. But going on that theory, so is Rhysand. And then Topher and I had a thought, because if it's Celine's power that transferred to the night, the High Lords, is Mor also Starborn, because it was Mor's family who were the original High Lords of the Night Court.
Yeah, there's some shit. Well, or yeah,
and maybe that's why it jumped, because maybe the Starborn power did not follow into that line once a witch came along and fucked the blood up, and so then it jumped to Rhys's family.
No, it's been Rhys's family for a long time, but
sure,
yeah, that's interesting.
Also, there is a on the page speculation as to whether or not Azriel is Starborn.
Yes.
Bryce wonders it, because he's carrying both Truth Teller and Gwydion Starsword, and when shit goes down, he wields both of them, and they both glow, one bright, one with shadows. And she looks at him and goes, I don't know how he's able to wield both of them together, and that they sing for him. I wonder if he has some long lost Starborn,
or maybe like that is what Dusk Court power is actually like Starborn, and so he's really the Dusk Court heir.
Yep.
Yeah. Dude, that is such a good
That theory. Could possibly mean, because Avalyn's Fae have the shadows, and when Thea and them went into Midgard, they took their court, their people from Dusk Court. They took some of the Fire Fae from the south, Autumn Court, and they probably took some of the Night Court, because it's right there as well. That was the allies that went with them. And so the descendants of Avalon could be Night Court.
Yes. Yeah, that's interesting.
But it also starts to question, Who was Asriel's dad?
Rune Dannon. Just kidding.
There's also a theory that Reese's sister is Rune's mom.
Yes, a lot of people think like that she got sucked into Crescent City, and that's where
You
she.
know who I'm really excited to see with some Asriel POVs? Asriel's mom. She's alive.
Mhm. That's right. She lives in
Can you just
Rose Place or something?
Yeah, Rose Place. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
She's living in a spring court? Or is she living in Fyro?
Fyro? What's that?
The fire there's okay, so in the fire court, whatever, it's in Crescent City. Fyro is where the Autumn King, where the Autumn King lives.
She's in Prithia, or
Maybe
maybe
it's all the same place and it's just a different time. Favorite is real hung up on the Tamlin Reese family drama.
Well, she doesn't know it's. Wait, she does.
She knows that.
I mean, because she feels conflicted. Because it starts off being like, "Wow, he paid for my whole family's estate," blah blah blah. Which I get.
And now I'm hanging out with the murderers of his family.
I dumped him after he gave me $10,000.
Well, he shouldn't have been stupid enough to give you $10,000.
I think it has a problem. No, he's rich enough. He can definitely just.
He's fine.
He
didn't give her $10,000. The Spring Court tithe gave her $10,000, which, by the way, that is what the Daglin called it when you offered up a portion of your power to them before they got all first lighty, technologically advanced Asteri in Midgard. They called it the tithe.
That's funny. Yeah.
Yep. So Tam, what are we doing here, sir? Why does the tithe still exist in your land?
He was pro Daglin.
I mean, probably.
Yeah, it's interesting to see her wonder about that. To me, that seems like honestly a little bit too obvious of foreshadowing. Like I'm just like,
well, because it happens. It happens twice, doesn't it? Or maybe it happens in the next chapter. She thinks about it again.
I don't remember. I've only read this chapter, so
yeah, I
think maybe you read ahead and you're thinking about it.
I think so when she says he'd been good, there were parts of Tamlin that. There was a part of Tamlin that was good. Yes, he'd given me everything I needed to become myself, to feel safe, and when he'd gotten what he wanted, he stopped. Had tried, but not really. He'd let himself remain blind to what I needed after Amarantha. And I said, because your needs became bigger than just food and clothing, and because your needs became independent of him.
Yes. Yeah, he is emotionally unavailable.
Well, yeah, because he gave me everything I needed to become myself, babe. It was food and a roof over your head. That would and some affection.
The bar is on the floor.
Yeah, the bar is in hell. Yeah. Also, this comment, your father must be a fine merchant, Cassian said. I've seen castles with less wealth. And I said, where are these castles, Cassian?
Well, he knocked one over.
True.
Just kidding. Yeah.
My father
is seeing how Reese is doing, he's so kind of not courteous. What's the word? I don't know. Like a silent question written on his face, and he's looking to her. It's interesting to see him being like,
they
decide what happens.
They are having a very much I've got your back, babe moment between the two of them.
Yeah.
That he's watching her to assess how she's doing, but she keeps looking to him to see how he's doing. And to see and almost for confirmation that she's doing okay too.
Yeah.
Where she's having some question, she might be having some doubts about if she's doing an okay job, and then she looks to him. And he's like, yeah, you're good. Or whatever. And then same thing, when he knows that her stuff is heightened, or he knows that she's gonna be triggered, he's watching her. So they're very much already kind of a solid team in this chapter.
Yeah, totally. I mean, they're kind of already, they've been a team.
Yeah, for sure. when she says
So
my father's away on business attending a meeting in Neva, which apparently we don't never hear about again. It's here. About the threat of Prithian, and I said to Prithian, not of Prithian. And then he said, Cassian's like, Prithian, not Hybern. She's like, it's possible my sisters were mistaken. Your lands are foreign to them. They merely said above the wall. I assume they thought it was Prithian.
Hmm.
And so I think what he probably said was, I'm gonna go look into the threat to Prithian. And the sisters were like, he's looking about up the wall, like above the wall.
Yeah. Yeah. I also wondered, what does Reese know about meetings about Prithian? Like, I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Asriel certainly, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. 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 There's a really sus moment where there was a theory, and I think it's pretty common, but you remember when, I think it's in this book, maybe the next one. Anyways, when they say that Asriel and Cassian and Moore or whatever have been spreading rumors across the continent to get them to infight and like think that there's threats at their borders so that they like fight against themselves and don't look to ally with Hybern.
Very vaguely.
And then people are like, oh, so you mean that he's created a false threat at people's borders so that they infight and they don't look to Hybern, kind of the way that Tamlin always said that there was a threat on his borders. So like the few months that the 3 months that she's there without him calling in his bargain, he's just sending Asriel and Cassian down to the Spring Court to be like, threaten the border. Get her to come here.
That's so funny.
Although if he thinks that he'll, I mean, whatever. But anyways, I was like, that's an interesting connection. It's also just a tactic of war, so.
You what?
It's also just a tactic of war, so it's like,
Yeah.
I don't think it speaks to any larger nefarious activity, but.
I also thought it was interesting the way she was worrying about her sisters, because like this part was pretty sad where she's like talking about how they're gonna die and get old, and like even when I read the first time I was like, surely that's not how it's gonna be, but I was like, maybe it will, and that is very sad. So I'm like,
It's all foreshadowing that this is a
well, I also
worry
think
she
it's
doesn't.
like what you would actually worry about, because
Yeah,
you're
for
like,
sure.
this is weird, because you expect to like grow old with your family,
Yeah.
your
When it
siblings
says
and
so
stuff.
beautiful and young, alive, when would that change? I wrote next to it, in about 1,000 years.
Yeah,
I can't
but
wait to like be a few years out of this at some point, or like the next time I read this to read my notes with this, because there's like some just like clear conversations that I'm having with myself and that I think are funny. And I can't wait to like have those conversations with future
some
self.
bit.
Yes, I have a lot of those.
That's funny. Yeah, I have some of those too, but yeah, I just thought it was interesting because she's so upset later, and they're so upset. But like at the end of the day, they are all happy that they get to actually grow old together still.
Yeah.
And I just think it's interesting because like that is like the central like, oh my god, I can't believe my sisters are made. But also like now you don't have to watch them die.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nesta, in the Third Crescent City, admits that she doesn't hate being Fae anymore.
Yeah. She probably didn't hate it like a lot sooner. She's just mad that her life was changed and upended and stuff.
Yeah. I
Um,
found it interesting. So when she's having these thoughts about her sisters, she's like, but I would give them a few good years, safe years until then. And I was like, I wrote, still like trying to provide for them. Even to the, like,
yes.
she's still in that role of like protecting and providing for them.
Yeah.
I think that this is a really smart way to give the readers a ton of information about Elaine and Nesta in 2 sentences. So the guys walk in and says, Elaine to her credit did not faint and Nesta to hers did not hiss at them. And I
Yep.
was like, that's a very good way to like give
Says a
us
lot.
so much information about those two. Also, Nesta hissing, that's not a human thing. That's
It is
very
not.
animalistic. That's very fey. That's very witchy. That's very other. That's
Yeah. Well, and I also think like, Nesta takes a defensive posture. She's
Mhm.
she's fighting like Faye. She's
Mhm.
so Faye.
Mhm.
To me, she's always had like animalistic, like
Yeah.
like the Faye characterization anyway.
I'm wondering if some of this like personality attributes that we're seeing in Elaine right now, right? Like she's more demure, right? She's the one that can get things done with a smile. She's the one who's a little more like outwardly terrified. Um she and like, to her credit, she didn't faint. I'm wondering if the ways in which Nesta treats her, where it's always like in like she's always protecting her, has kind of pigeonholed
Oh, I'm
held her
sure.
into a position of not submissiveness, but more of the timid, more of the like whatever. Because even when she's talking to Azrael, when she's like, so you can fly, isn't that scary? Like, I feel like Elaine's personality is kind of because Nesta has always been the like, be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful.
Mhm.
And so she's internalized that to an extent, and I'm really excited to see that break the fuck apart.
I know. I was like, are we going to see Azrael? Also, has she flown with as? Maybe she has already flown. I don't
I
remember.
do believe so, yes.
But I feel like we'll get some of those scenes
Yeah.
too or something.
Hmm.
Interesting, like, first interaction is her. Like, that's their first interaction, is her asking him. Kind of.
Kind of.
Anyway, that's one of the first interactions, is her
Hmm.
asking him that. Um,
This whole internal conversation about her family name is very interesting to me. And I
yes.
get it. For the story, it makes sense, but I feel like this is like, I don't know, right? So she introduces her sisters as Nesta and Elaine Archeron, and then she thinks to herself, I had not thought of my family name, had not used it for years and years, because when I had sacrificed and hunted for them, I had not wanted my father's name, not when he sat before that little fire and let us starve. Let me walk into the woods alone. I'd stopped using it the day I killed that rabbit and felt its blood stain my hands, the same way the blood of those fairies had marred it years later like an invisible tattoo. And I'm like, I don't know. It just there's something about it that is like, I get it. Like, I don't want to use it because it's his name and he's weak or whatever, and he didn't stick up for us. But I feel like there's gonna be some bullshit somewhere along the way where they realize that he like knew what their fucking fate was gonna have in store for them or some shit, and was like, I needed you to be strong, so I couldn't do anything, which is gonna be redactive and gross. But
Yeah, I think that's gonna
um
be icky.
yeah, it is icky. But
I'd rather have her say, "Oh, it was fate that I should have been like this," as opposed
yeah,
to like. But I also am like, his father's too sus.
his father's
Um,
sus as fuck.
he's so sus. Um, so I thought it was interesting though how she related like his betrayal with her killing the bunnies to like the same or a similar effect as like the fairies. Um,
Well, that's
there's
why I
some
think that there's going to be some weird reductive stuff where it's going to be like, if he hadn't failed, then I wouldn't have risen, and it's going to be even just like an internal sort of thing. Like, I mean, and I think that people do that when they've gone through some shit, when like
yes,
they
they put
like,
their own narrative on it.
well,
Yeah,
that, or they, and like even if you've gone through some bullshit, and if you like the person that you are on the other side of that, and that part of you, it's such a shitty thing to like have to kind of come to
very
terms with. It's
Christian.
like, yeah, where you're like, there's a part of who I am today that I love that wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't go through this bullshit.
Yeah,
And so it doesn't excuse it, but I think it's a very human way of accepting past trauma.
very human. It's funny.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not a Fey way of accepting trauma.
No.
The Fey way is to just kill them all and let the cauldron sort it out.
Yeah. No, but yeah, I think that
That
makes
should.
sense.
Mhm.
Mhm.
We can smell emotions. It's been confirmed. People are smelling arousal. People are smelling
Fair.
fear. Their hearts wildly pounded, even Nesta's, and the tang of their terror coated my tongue.
Let's taste. You think that's she's smelling that?
Yeah.
Coated my tongue. Yeah.
Just saying. We've always questioned if they can like,
Yes.
you know.
Well, I thought that it was confirmed
'Cause at
because
some point,
Azrael says he could smell.
well, because
Yeah.
Reese does. He comes up there and like gives Cassian some weird talking to, and he's like, I don't know what you're doing in this house, but it smells like sex.
Yeah.
And Cassian's like, Azriel's a lonely boy.
Is that what he says?
No, but that would be hilarious.
Dude.
He's like, Azriel's been spending a lot of time by himself.
Uh-huh.
I keep telling him to waft it out the window, but he just won't listen.
The neighbors are like, the fuck?
Right? All of Valaris is like, between the stench that's coming from the mountain and the constant earthquakes from our High Lord getting off, it is unlivable conditions here in Valaris.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Maybe that's why the like Hewn City sucks so hard, is because they're just inundated with fucking earthquakes and the smell of arousal. They're like, well, what else are we supposed to do but engage in debauchery when that's what our entire court smells like, High Lord?
You know what? You would also get used to it and not smell it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you go nose blind. That's funny. Um,
We're so unhinged. This is wild.
yeah. Yucky food.
Mm-hmm. I made a note that so I underlined first off, but looking at, so he turns down his power voltage, and then says, but looking at those star-flecked violet eyes, no one would ever mistake him for anything but extraordinary. Not anything but what he is. Not anything but Fae. Not anything but a High Lord. Anything but extraordinary. That's a fucking compliment. That's not just a statement of fact.
Yes.
And then he bows to the sisters. Thank you for your hospitality and generosity. He said with a warm smile, but there was something strained in it. And I said, he already doesn't like these bitches.
Oh yeah.
He's already like,
Mm-hmm.
I have taken stock and found you wanting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it is interesting.
Nesta has a hardcore leader energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
the queen line.
Well, and even right here, right? The cook has left dinner on the table. We should eat it before it goes cold. She didn't wait for my agreement before striding off right to the head of the polished cherry table. She sat at the head of the table.
Mm-hmm.
Which I get, it's her house, whatever. But like very much, and yeah, and then later the queen ready to hold court.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes sense for Nesta.
Well, and again, all this language that can be tied back to witches, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
No, totally.
I want to know why Azriel is smiling here. So,
because he thinks Elaine's cute.
Okay, but does he? Okay, so they all sit down, right? And Cassian claimed the spot beside Elaine, who clenched her fork as if she might wield it against him. And Reese slid into the seat beside me. Azriel on his other side. A faint smile bloomed upon Azriel's mouth as he noticed Elaine's fingers white-knuckled on that fork, but he kept silent, focusing instead as Cassian tried to sit down with his wings, yada yada. And so I'm wondering if he's smiling because he finds her like cute, or or it's like charming where he's like, oh, she's trying to be brave right now, like that's cute, or if he's like, you're so dumb. A fork.
I think it's all of that. I think it's like, look at her, she's holding that fork. I to me, if I'm Azriel, I'm like amused that like a human would like, she's both like clutching her fork, but I feel like she probably realizes that that's silly, and so she's like, but it's an instinct to just clutch the fork. And so I can see him being like, look, she's so conflicted. She wants to stab me. She wants to be nice, but she just can't do anything. So she's just clutching it. She doesn't realize that she's giving herself away. To me, I don't know. It's all
I'm wondering if he's also seeing like a bit of bravery, though. Like it's not like where he's not seeing it as like a human survival instinct to just want a weapon around something that's threatening, but like the fact that she's willing to do it, where he's just like, okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think yeah. To me, it reads like, toddler pulls out his toy sword.
Yeah. Kind of, yeah.
And you're just like, oh, and it's like, I don't know. You just
do
like
we
the spirit.
Do we ever find out why the food tastes like shit in the human realm? It just does, right? Because there's no magic imbued in it. Because it's not made with beautifully fertile soil.
Maybe, yeah. I honestly have no idea.
But I was like, why does it taste so different?
Yeah, maybe Faye just is there a growing power that Faye have?
Yeah, I
There's
don't know.
elemental, right?
Well, I mean, maybe it's the power of Tamlin's semen imbued into the land every right, and
Easy.
it makes the food taste better.
Mm.
He's got the right fertilization, if you will.
I wrote Nesta's attitude lol. It's self-conscious defensive. She feels rejected. Oh, by the food thing.
Yeah, and so I wrote things. So especially because
She's
now,
lashing out because she feels self-conscious.
yes, I think it's that, and then I'm
Okay.
also wondering because I wrote like, is there a little bit of jealousy in this too? Like,
I think it's like this
I
is
don't
my
think it's,
sister, and now she thinks she's too good for me because she's with you people. It's like some of that.
yeah, which still kind of lives in a jealousy space.
Yeah.
Or I'm wondering if it's like, really, I got to stay here where like the only person who tolerates me is Elaine, and you get to go off to this other land and have a bunch of dudes fucking fawn all over you, and
Yeah.
you find your family and your people and your bullshit. Yeah.
I'm sure it's some of that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. The Cassian choking on water. Okay. Especially because we've had a few a few chapters ago, Reese served Cassian on a platter naked to Feyre, basically. Was like, if you want to fuck him, you can. So, and we keep speculating that there's some conversation where Cassian's like, if she needs a release, she knows where to come. And so like, right, so Nesta asks her, so you can't eat normal food anymore, or are you too good for it? And Feyre's reply is, I can eat, drink, fuck, and fight just as well as I did before. Better even. And Cassian chokes on his water. And is he choking because he's laughing? Or is he choking because he just got a mental image of fucking Feyre?
All of that.
It's like, don't put that in my head.
I think it's just like when the quiet girl says something crazy and you're like, oh, okay. I don't know. It's like when I crossed from being my shy self to my real self.
He's like, this girl's been taking naps every day because the world is too big for her, and she came out with that comment. Okay,
yes. Yeah. That's funny.
Also, Cassian really needs to control his like laughter when he's drinking, because this is like the second time that he's almost like spewed across the table.
It's just what we Cassians do. It's you have
laugh
instant
so hard
reactions. You have very loose,
Yeah. But I love that his response is to like, laugh or be taken aback, and Asriel's is just like full on defensive, like, well, that was a fucked up comment. Let's make sure nobody fights.
Yeah.
And Nesta has such a dismissive laugh. That's a dismissive laugh, where she says that, and Nesta goes, like, okay, bitch.
Yes, it's a mean girl laugh.
Yeah. And then Reese pulls on the mate bond because
she gets pissed. I didn't realize she was so close to having a little magical meltdown.
Mm-hmm. And not only does she have a little magical meltdown, and does he tug on the solid bond, cooling darkness sweeping into me, my temper, my senses, calming that fire. I scrambled to throw out my mental shields, but they were intact.
Wait, what does that mean? I don't get it.
It means that
it's the mate bond, and she's realizing that it's not.
So what this means, though, is that he can feel her emotions even when her shields are up because of the mate bond.
You know what my brain said?
What did it say?
Because he's a siren.
Because her fire burned like ash on his tongue, the same way their fear coated her. Yeah, no, that's because he's a siren.
Like, I just like,
yeah. We're such little Zodiac whores. That's gonna be our Christmas Hanukkah presents this year. It's just gonna be fucking Zodiac merch, dude. I'm getting us ass stickers. It's happening. Ass badges.
Oh god! Especially since the book will come out.
We're getting shirts that just say ass across the tits. It's happening.
Ass on the tits. Hell yeah.
Ass forever.
Ass and then cunts on the back. Sorry. No, we don't like the cunts.
We don't like the cunts, but that could be on the back in like in an X, ass on the front and cunt in an X on the back.
Yeah, or like rump headquarters.
Rump head.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. That's so funny.
What's the other one? There's ass. Oh, maybe Wilbur comes up with one that's like dick or something. I can't remember.
No, but there's
ass, cunt, rump,
and like dong or something.
Oh, that's Wilbur's.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. We'll love a little our first Nessian interaction.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think they love each other's spiteful bitchiness.
Yeah, so Reese is trying to be kind for a minute, right? If you ever come to Prithian, you'll discover why the food tastes so different. She's like, I have little interest in ever setting foot in your lands, so I'll take your word for it. And then Elaine goes, Peacekeeper. Nesta, please.
Yeah.
Be kind. Stop being
it's bad when you have to say it out loud instead of do like a shut up. You have to be like out loud, stop it.
And then Cassian sizes up Nesta, a gleam in his eyes that I could only interpret as a warrior finding himself faced with a new interesting opponent. And I'm so interested to like if they're already feeling they have to already be feeling attraction.
They do, because that first scene is
they say it in Silver Flame. She was like, the moment I saw you, I was like, I'm in fucking deep shit.
Wait, are we supposed to do the Nesta bonus chapter right after this?
No. It's a little ways.
Oh. Read after chapter 38.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it must be the second time we go to the human lands or something.
They don't go, it's just Cassian who goes. Nesta, Feyre, and it's when they go to Summer Court, I think, or there's something that Feyre and Rhysand are doing, and so he sends Cassian to like Nesta's house, and Cassian's like, please don't make me go, and he's like, quit being a bitch, go. And then we get the chapter where
I was worried it was supposed to be right after, but I think they feel something. Yeah, I think they feel something right now.
Yeah. Well, and she's already honed in on his energy because, like, he gives her this look and she zeroes right in on it, right? Then Mother above, Nesta shifted her attention to Cassian, noticing that gleam, what it meant, and she snarled softly, what are you looking at? And then he just fucking lays into her.
Yes, and she likes it. She thinks it's hot.
She's like, I love when people treat me like shit. It's kind of my thing.
She probably does.
Well, she got daddy issues, But he says, right, Cassian's brows rose, a little amusement to be found now. Someone who let her younger sister risk her life every day in the woods while she did nothing. Someone who let a 14-year-old child go into that forest so close to the wall. My face began heating and I opened up my mouth to say what I didn't know. Your sister died to save my people. She's willing to do so again to protect you from war. So don't expect me to sit here with my mouth shut while you sneer at her for a choice she did not get to make and insult my people in the process. And I wrote, is Feyre considered his people now? Like, does he consider? Yeah, like. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he definitely.
But this is also one of these moments where I'm like, is this Cassian trying to get into Feyre's pants?
No, he saw Nesta's pants and said, I can fit in there.
And then he gets even more pissed, kind of, right? Nesta didn't bat an eyelash as she studied the handsome features, the muscled torso, then turned to me, dismissing him entirely. Cassian's face went almost feral. A wolf who had been circling a doe, only to find a mountain cat wearing its hide instead. He's like,
you just ignore me?
The fuck, bitch? Do you know who he is? I worked for him.
So funny.
And then Elaine does this, Elaine's voice wobbled as she noted the same thing and quickly said to him, it is very hard, you understand, to accept it. And then I realized the dark metal of her ring, it was iron, even though I had told them about iron being useless there, the gift from the Fae-hating soon-to-be husband family. And I wrote mostly at her, what she said was, has Elaine always been like played peacekeeper between Feyre and Nesta?
Hmm.
But she's middle sister, right? So it makes sense that she's Nesta's oldest. So like when the oldest sister and the baby sister fight, it's middle sister who's like, guys, calm down. It's fine.
Yeah, I guess. To me, I think oldest is the peacekeeper between the two younger.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, but not when you got a Nesta on your hands.
Yeah, no.
This has big middle child
She
energy.
does. Yeah,
Yeah, Sham just doesn't understand birth order.
that's fair.
Um,
I love that we're both doing the same ums now. We've hung out for long enough that
eh,
our ums have aligned because our periods can't because we're too far away.
yes.
Our
Oh my God.
ums have synced.
I know I have such a bad habit of doing that, but I don't know. My brain.
Whatever. It's how we
Fried.
talk. It's fine. And then it's all very disorienting. And then sweet baby Asriel, I can imagine. And Cassian's like, the fuck?
Yeah.
But
Flashing
Asriel's
glare.
attention was on my sister, a polite, bland smile on his face. Her shoulders loosened a bit, and I wondered if Rhysand's spymaster often got his information through those stone-cold manners as much as stealth and shadows. And I said, or he's already attracted to your sister.
Yes. Although the bland smile feels like, that feels like
Yes, but he never smiles.
Yeah, he only knows how to do a bland smile.
Right? I don't think even when it's a real smile, it's like a smirk. He's always hiding it.
That's true. That's funny.
I
Although
do
the Claire mention is funny. That's crazy.
Yeah. I do like that this is a dichotomy that we're getting even this early on between Nesta and Elaine, because Nesta is like I never apologize for anything. Go fuck yourself. It is what it is. Life was shitty, and you got your stick and I got my stick, and they were both shit ins.
Yeah.
But Elaine is not that. And she's like, as for Feyre's hunting during those years, it was not Nesta's neglect alone that is to blame. We were scared and had received no training, and everything had been taken. We failed her, both of us. But also, like, if I'm going to be kind of they were also children.
Yeah, well, okay, when you're like their same age, you think you're the older sibling, you should have helped. And when you're looking
they're
at
only like
from
a
our
year
age,
apart.
you're just three teenagers.
Yeah, it's 14, 15, and 16. You're just going to put all of that on the 15 and 16-year-old? Like, what? Like, no,
Yeah.
they were all children.
Yeah.
Granted, maybe at some point they could have started to help out, right? It was like 8 years of them just being like, well, thanks for the food, babe. Like, that's
I think
unforgivable.
that's more of it.
But the just like letting a child go out into the woods by herself, and like maybe that's part of it too. Was like you could at least have gone with her.
Yes. Yeah. I don't think
And
they
like
expected them
Nesta
to be
does
like,
at
we
one
were also
point, like Feyre does teach Nesta how to shoot a bow. And so like maybe there was a moment, but then there's no follow through. So like I can see the damnation of the sisters, but also like take a second, guys, and realize they were also children.
Yeah. I think it's more of like, oh, she was like dying. She was, busting her ass, and you were just chilling.
Yeah.
I also think it's interesting because Elaine in that moment is kind of standing up for both Feyre and Nesta.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like at the same time, because she's like, well, be nice to Nesta because we both failed her. And also, but we also failed her, so we're like, oh, well, we're owning that we fucked up.
Yeah. Rhys already is like very well aware that Nesta is about to lose her shit. And he's like, Feyre, get your sister.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so do you think that Feyre is actually tasting her pride? Like, is this like her new Fae abilities? I could almost taste her pride roiling in her veins, barking to not back down.
Maybe, but I think it's also just an overfamiliarity with her sister and knowing how she is.
Yeah, I feel that.
And like almost being like, it's so tangible and so familiar to me that I wouldn't be surprised if now that I have Fae senses, I would be able to taste it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just thought it was interesting. An interesting description.
And then Cassian gives her a cute little wink.
I know, my notes I wrote, Cassian.
how you doing? That's Cassian energy right now.
Oh, I thought he was saying it like,
No, he's being a
yeah,
dick
bitch,
about it.
let's go.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, there Rhysand's like, you should probably calm your sister down, and Favor's like, hey babe, can we calm down? And Cassian's like, don't calm her down. Let's fucking fight. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Cassian watches her a little too fucking intently. Cassian watched every bite she took, every bob of her throat as she swallowed.
Yeah, he's hot for her.
He's like, get her in the ring. I need her in the ring now. And then she's forced to eat this shit food. This is an interesting... So Elaine asks Azriel, perhaps the only two civilized ones here, even though Rhys is being very civilized as well.
Yes, he's a good boy.
Can you truly fly? He sets down his fork, blinking. So he's like, and she's like, can you fly? And he's like, you're talking to me. Yeah, I could fly. She's like, it might even call it self-conscious. Like, is he blushing? He's like, oh, the girl's talking to me. The pretty one's talking to me. Hold on. Let me give you my attention.
That's funny.
No game, Azriel.
That's so funny.
Ooh. Yes, Cassian and I hail from a race of fairies called the Lyrians. We're born hearing the song of the wind.
Yes, which is very first chapter of Silver Flames coded Cassian's first chapter.
It's also super witch coded.
Oh yeah,
because Manon over and over again says she can hear the song of the wind. She can hear the wind. The wind sings to her.
That's awesome.
And Elaine's like, oh, that's a pretty way of thinking about it. It's so beautiful. It's so poetic.
That was interesting also the way that Feyre feels like solidarity with Azriel right now too.
Mm-hmm.
I
love it, Cassie. I always want to like heighten these up because it's so funny to me. So like Elaine is being a little prim and proper. Azriel's being like the cute girl's looking at me, and he's like trying to be like it's a little poetic, right? Yes, and the wind sings to us. And she's like, that's so beautiful, but like, isn't it scary? And he's like, sometimes it is. And Cassie's just like, yeah, especially if it's a storm.
One time I got struck by a lightning in my asshole.
And Azrael's like, well, there goes the nice poetic moment. That's the energy I get, where he's just like, he's set down his cutlery and he's just sitting very cutesy, and he's like me, yeah, I'm brave. It's in our bones and our blood to do this. And then yeah, Cassie's just being a fucking heathen about it.
So funny.
Yeah, it's drilled out of us before we even take our diapers off. Azrael's like, yeah, that's I mean, for some of us, yes, that's not my story, Elaine, just so you know, but yeah.
And then we get some discussion about what the fuck Feyre is. She got a point. What are you, Feyre?
I still see Cassian like hunched over his food. He's like, only the high fae who look like those fuckers are high fae. Like, I just feel him being like so like not well mannered right now, just like full on talking with just being himself. It's interesting that Rhysand, this comment is interesting to me. So Cassian says, right, only the high fae who look like them, pointing to Rhys and Feyre, are high fae. Everyone else, any other differences, mark you as what they like to call lesser fae. And the Rhysand says, it's become a term to use for ease, but masks a long, bloody history of injustices. Many lesser fae resent the term and wish for us all to be called one thing. And Cassian says, rightfully so. But even in that sentence, Rhys is using it. He's taking ownership of the word, but also isn't saying that he doesn't. You're right. It would have been different if he said, it's become a term that's used for ease, but masks a long, bloody history, right? many fairies resent the term, in which, like, he didn't have to say many lesser fairies resent the term. He could have just said many fairies resent the term. But by putting it there, he's also just owning it as something that he calls them, and it becomes questionable as to whether or not he thinks that they should all be called one thing.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that they should, like, do you think there should be equality? Because in this sentence, it's unclear.
Yeah, that's funny. I always
There's
just
still an
assumed
othering
so.
almost, huh?
I always just assumed that he was one of the ones who didn't like it, but you know, a lot of people, that is a critique of Reese, is like, is he really a feminist? He could just outlaw Illyrian wing clipping, and I'm just like, he could try harder, and I'm like, yeah, he could.
But he could have just said many resent the term and wish for us all to be called the same thing. The fact that he said many of them resent it and wish for it, it just takes his
It's
own,
weird.
takes
I feel like
something out of
that's
it.
just a slip up. I feel
It
like
is.
that's just like she didn't realize how she wrote that type beat.
Yeah. And then I love how he defends Feyre in a really kind of intimate way. Right, you're not high fae to begin, so what do they call you? And before she can even answer, Rhysand's just like, Fair's whoever she chooses to be. Like,
Yeah.
that's very like, don't ask stupid questions, Nesta.
Yeah.
And if you doubt that she can be whoever she wants to be, then you can take it up with me, kind of a moment.
It's also interesting because Feyre says, like, I couldn't tell if it was a jab or not. And so it's almost like Reese is like, let's not even deal with it. Let's just, you
Yeah.
know.
Nesta's making demands of them. She's doing some more queen shit right now. So Nesta at some point dismisses them very weirdly, and I was saying that she's like making demands already, right? That write your letter to the queens tonight. Tomorrow, and Elaine and I will go to the village and dispatch it. If the queens do come here, and then she glares at Cassian, I suggest you brace yourselves for prejudices far deeper than our own, and contemplate how you plan to get us all out of this mess should things go sour. And I'm like, way to just be like dictating work to people who could fucking missed you.
Well, she doesn't know that. Yeah.
Cassie's like, I'll miss you, babe. Put those hands on the headboard and I'll miss you real good.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I feel like she just doesn't care. She's just like,
Yeah,
I think it's actually a way of trying to assert control over the situation, is to like, you know, like, yeah, it's like she's cosplaying, fake it till you
yeah,
make
and it's
it.
almost like a good cop bad. She feels threatened, and so her defense mechanism is to be stern and harsh and aggressive, where Elaine's defense mechanism is to be the peacekeeper, and to Elaine's the one where, like, if someone, and I know, did you ever watch the episode of Grey's Anatomy with the shooting?
No.
Okay. So there's like a theory, I guess, but it's also in this episode and I always think about it. So there's a active shooter in the hospital, and one of the doctors, when she comes out and the guy points the gun at her, she immediately starts going like, this is my name, and I'm this years old, and I grew up in this town, and these are my parents' names, and I have this many sisters. And she was like, I read somewhere that if you like endear yourself or make yourself human, it's harder for people to like attack you. And I feel like that's Elaine's thing, where she's just like, oh, I'm gonna like appease and be nice and get them talking about themselves and start to like ask questions and whatever. Where Nesta's is like, I don't have time for that. Get your shit, do what you got to do, and get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
But then it's also right. I assumed you wanted to stay the night. And then they say yes. And then Nesta didn't smile, but Elaine beamed. Good. I think we have a few bedrooms ready. Why is Elaine just happy because she's like, oh, they feel comfortable, or because her sister's home and she wants to see her sister more, or she wants to play the hostess with the mostess? But I just thought, or maybe this is a mask for her too, where she's just like, perfect, let's go. Like, I was just like, it's weird that they're like, yeah, we'll stay the night, and she's like, yay, slumber party.
I think it's like just like oh, I have a role now. Okay, let me set up your beds. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, I think that's
Or maybe she's even putting it on where like the harsher Nesta gets, the more welcoming Elaine gets, where like
Yes.
Nest has just been like fucking snarling. And so when they're like, yeah, we'll stay the night, Elaine's like, okay, gotta play nice. Yay, I'm so happy that you're staying. I have rooms ready. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that this is bullshit. I think Reese just wants to spend the night with Feyre.
Yeah, I think so too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's like, magic is different across the wall, so our shields, our senses might not work right. I'm taking no chances, especially in a house with a woman betrothed to a man who gave her an iron engagement ring. And I said, nah, you just want to bunk with your girl.
Yeah. That's funny.
This is very Bryce and Hunt coded, or maybe Bryce and Hunt are Feyre and Rhysand coded because of publication dates. But when she's like, so Elaine's like, the bedrooms have to have that have two beds aren't next to each other, and Feyre's like, we'll move stuff around, it's fine. She goes, this one I added with a glare in Rhysand's direction is only cranky because he's old and it's past his bedtime. And there's like a direct kind of similar quote that Bryce gives Hunt shit for being old, and she's just like, okay, old man, I know it's past your bedtime, but like chill out.
It's funny. I felt like it's just like, I'm gonna be awkward. I feel awkward, so I'm gonna be chummy.
Yeah, could be. But it has some of that Bryce and Hunt code for me, and I was like, oh,
totally.
cutesy. And I think even Aelin makes some comment too about Rowan being old and cranky or some
Yeah.
shit. And then everybody laughs, right? Reese chuckles at this, like, because imagine she says this and they don't know, like, oh, is that going to set everybody, like, everyone's walking on eggshells here. And she's like insulted Reese, kind of tongue in cheek insulted him. And Reese laughs. And Cassian, like, stops fucking growling and he laughs. And then Elaine's like, it's okay. Is it okay to laugh? It's okay to, oh, Asriel's fine. So I guess it's okay to laugh.
That's funny. Also, I thought it was so funny. If we're done eating and this meal is over.
I want to end all my dinners like this. It's the weirdest way to end. If you're done, then the meal is over.
Like, yeah, that's how meals work. If you stop eating, the meal is done.
I feel
like, I don't know what you think a meal is.
It seems like something one of my kids would say to, like,
I mean,
understand that we're done eating. Like, if you guys are done, then the meal is the dinner's done. Like, it's such a child kind of thing. You're like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah. But I think what she really meant to say is, like, then this discussion is over. But
I think it shows that she's really bad at, like, dismissing people. Like, she hasn't practiced this, because that's like a king or like, you know how, like, they get dismissed, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're done here, you can leave. Like, and I think that that's what she's trying to do, and it just comes off as like, well, that was weird. You did that wrong.
Do you think that, I feel like that's just like SJM didn't realize how it sounded, or do you think it's meant to be awkward? Like, I think it's like a typo.
Could be a typo.
Like, she really just meant then this discussion's over. Because no one draws any attention to it. And, like,
yeah, that's true.
It reads as a power play. But it is funny because I'm like, what?
I love that they do a group project.
No, I was letter. Like, they're doing can you imagine the Bat Boys peer review?
Cassian's like, say that we'll come and fucking kill them if they don't. And Asriel's like, that's not. Cassian's like, tell them that we're going to shank them if they don't come. And Asriel's like, that's not how you do that, babe. Like, that, And
Cassian's like, the comma goes on the other side. Come on, Reese, are you a High Lord? You can't even spell?
Feyre can spell better than you, and she's been reading for like 2 weeks.
Yeah. You can just see Asriel be like, that does not flow. It does not flow.
Have you never heard of an Oxford comma, Reese?
Yeah. But yeah.
So then they go to bed, right? So and the girls do the dishes, which, okay, whatever. They get into the bedroom. There's one bed. It's large enough for two, and Feyre's like, not happening, bud. And he, brings in his own bed from the whatever. And then I love these, like, Nest is a delight, by the way. And then she says she's her own creature. It was perhaps the kindest thing I could say about her.
No, she's her mother's creature, which we get to at the end too. But it is funny how she said that.
Still very crazy that they like that's how they discuss. Like she's her own creature, not she's Nesta's Nesta, or yeah, it was she's a little rough around the edges, and she's her own creature.
Yeah, it's a vibe.
And then part of me with so it's been a few centuries since someone got under Cassian's skin that easily. Too bad they're both inclined to kill each other. A part of me shuddered at the havoc the two would wreak if they decided to stop fighting, and I'm like, foreshadowing.
Yeah.
He's so worried about her right now. Right. They're talking about the wedding, blah, blah, blah. And then, oh, she gets defensive about her sisters, right? So he's talking shit, a little bit of shit about Nesta. And then he's like, Elaine shouldn't be marrying this Lord's son, not for about a dozen's reasons, least of which is the fact that she won't be invited to the wedding. Though maybe that's a good thing. And she's like, that's not funny. And he's like, at least you won't have to send a gift either. I doubt her father in law would deign to accept it. And then she gets defensive of her sisters. She's like, you have a lot of nerve mocking my sisters when your own friends have equally as much melodrama. And he's like, the fuck are you talking about? And she's like, oh, so you haven't noticed the way that Asriel looks at Mor, or how she sometimes watches him, defends him, and how both of them do such a good job at letting Cassian be the buffer between them most of the time. And Rhys is just like, you might want to keep that to yourself.
What is that? Is that him being like, you're being too close to home? Or is him just like, I don't know. I thought it was weird.
I think he has tried to breach this conversation with one or all of them at some point, and he gets shut down super hard. And he probably wants her to fit in. And so he's like, you may want to not bring that up with them. They're not going to enjoy you prying into that. And you're going to get shut down and they're going to close you out. And I need you to be liked.
Make friends. Yeah.
Yeah. And then this comment, you think I'm some busybody gossip? My life is miserable enough as it is. Why would I want to spread the misery to those around me as well? And he's like kind of hurt, worried, something, because he's like, is it miserable, your life? Like you're really that unhappy?
Yeah.
And then she answers him honestly, right? I don't know. Everything has changed so fast. I don't really know what to think.
I think she's like, when she says in the next, I haven't reread it, but I know it's coming. And when she says like, it's not my home,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is when she's speaking like from like, like before you realize you've changed, you speak out of like old habits.
Uh-huh.
And so I feel like she's doing that again here, where she's like, well, yeah, I'm miserable, aren't I? I thought
well, and
last I checked, I thought I'm miserable.
Yeah, she's like still living in the spring court to some extent, where she's like, my life is so miserable. Why am I going to spread that around? And then he's like, is it though? And then she has to like pause and be like, well, not since I came here, not since I've joined you guys, but like, she's also like, you know what? You're right. I don't know. Things, a lot of, okay.
Yeah.
And then he says, perhaps once we return home, I should give you a day off. And then in the next chapter, just because I'm going to be that person right now, he says, I thought this was supposed to be our day off.
That's what he says?
Yeah. And I'm
like,
like,
when they're in the
she wakes up in the morning. Yeah, she gets up in the morning with him, and she's like, I want to go and train, like in the woods. I want you to train me with the magic. And he's like, I didn't expect to be freezing my ass off first thing in the morning. Thanks for this. Like, I thought this was supposed to be our day off. And I was like, day off together? Because you just said when you return home, you'd give her a day off. When did it all of a sudden become to a day off together? Not home yet. Yeah.
So this is just a random day off that's not that day off at home.
Maybe.
They're not.
But he's just like, we're both off today, or we're not hanging out. I thought we were spending the day together. What? Yeah,
that's funny. My lord.
Yeah, and then this, I like this kind of interaction where it's a little bantery, a little flirty, but also very like honest and a little vulnerable. This whole little section is cute.
Yes.
But yeah, so like she's standing there in all of her weird ass clothes, realizing, am I just gonna sleep in this dress and crown? And he fingers her night clothes.
Fingers? Does it say fingers?
A snap of Reese's fingers in my night clothes and some flimsy underthings appeared on the bed. And he says, I couldn't decide which scrap of lace I wanted you to wear, so I brought you a few to choose from. And she calls him a pig. And then he lays down. or she goes and changes, and when she comes back in, the room is warm and the bed is warm, and she thanks him for it. And he says, Amarantha never thanked me once for that. And she said she didn't suffer enough. And then he shifts topics and says, I didn't think I could get through that dinner. And I'm like, he's already super defensive of her. And she's like, why? And he's like, your sisters mean well, or one of them does, but seeing them sitting at that table, I hadn't realized it would hit me as strongly how young you were, how they didn't protect you. And like that's that mate bond. That mate bond's riding him hard right now.
Mm-hmm. I know, if I'm him, if I'm her, I'm gonna be like, why do you care? Well, that's how you can tell she is like, yeah, we both sense this thing between us.
But that's the thing too. She can't ask him why he cares, because she cares the same way, right?
Yeah.
Because her response to Amarantha never thanks me for that is that she should have suffered more because of what she put him through.
Yeah.
And also, this next line, right? We owe them gratitude for letting us use this house, he said quietly, but it'll be a long while yet before I can look at your sisters without wanting to roar at them. And she responds with, a part of me feels the same way, but if I hadn't gone into those woods, if they hadn't let me go out there alone, you would still be enslaved, and perhaps Amarantha would be now readying her forces to wipe out the lands. And I just said her first thought was,
Reese.
It was worth it for you.
Yeah.
Not for Tamlin, not for Springcourt, not for Prithian, for him.
Uh-huh.
This is a random, like, so they're talking about, he shifts gears again, right? He's like, that's an awkward conversation. Don't want to have it. I'm telling you that I'm giving you money. And she's like, you didn't have to do that. And then again, he jumps right, like this, I give you the same amount as the others. And then, when's your birthday? I was like, why? Like, it's natural to do this, to like be kind of like in just a whatever, like the conversation kind of flows from topic to topic and whatever. Like, what else is he going to say about money? Like, he can't just keep talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But it is also a little like telling that it's like when they're alone, when it's quiet, when they can be vulnerable, he just wants to know more about her.
Yes. Yeah. It could have been like the same effect if you said, what's your favorite color?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What sign are you?
Yeah. Yeah. I will say
Sagittarius. That's her sign.
Is it?
Yep. She shares a birthday with my dad.
Oh.
December 21st is the winter solstice.
Oh, my dad's December 22nd.
Is your dad a dick too?
He's a Capricorn.
Oh yeah, because my dad's on the cusp.
Yeah.
So he's a Sagittarius, which is a centaur thing, right? It's like,
I don't know anything about Sagittarius.
My mom used to always joke that my dad was half man, half ass.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So I love, she says it's the winter solstice. He's like, that was months ago. And she's like, okay. And he's like, I don't remember. You didn't. I don't remember seeing you celebrate it. And she's like, I didn't, whatever. And he goes, you truly were born on the winter solstice. And I wrote in parentheses as Reese's head going, my mate was born on the longest night of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, yeah.
Is that all the only reason it's interesting to him? It seems like he's like doing more calculations than that. Maybe that's all.
Maybe.
Yeah, he's going, oh, it is fate. She really is the one.
Mm-hmm. And then they have this like bet moment, right? Because she talks about her mom being, an ass. And he's like, now I know where Nesta gets it. Honestly, it's a shame we can't stay longer, if only to see who'd be left standing, her or Cassian. She says, my money's on Nesta. And a soft chuckle that snaked along my bones, a reminder that he'd once bet on me, had been the only one under the mountain who'd put money on me defeating the Midgarden worm. And he said, so's mine.
Mm-hmm. That's cute. That is the last. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we get some. Then the next 3 chapters are a whirlwind of fun stuff.
Okay, so next week we'll get attacked by the Ator. We'll have little. Do we winnow in the next couple?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We winnow in the next couple, and Feyre, Reese basically tells her that she stopped fighting, and he's like, yeah, you did. And she's like, so what if I did? And like kind of like kind of manipulates her into being like, fuck that, I want to learn how to fight and I don't ever want to be used again. Don't ever use me for bait again. And he's like, fair enough. Which seems
Interesting.
slightly manipulative, but like
Does he use her for bait for the Ator?
Yeah. Not for the Ator specifically, but he does say, like, I was interested to see who would show up the moment you're by yourself. Because she's like, you used me as bait? And he's like, yeah, I wanted to see who was going to come. Oh. And then she gets pissed off at that and tries to push him and tries to fight him. And he starts winnowing to, like, you know, get her to use her magic. And then she busts talons out on her hands. Ew. And digs into his shoulders and, like, is like pushing him in, and then she winnows and attacks him and pushes him to the ground, and she like screams in his face, don't ever use me as bait again.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
She's like, I want to learn how to fight and protect myself and be useful, and if you're just gonna use me, I'm done. And he's like, fair enough.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it takes a little bit of that tough love to snap people out of their bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's also presumptive and a little icky.
It is. Because when she says you use me as bait, he's like, yeah, and I'd do it again. And she's like, fuck you. And he's like, what are you going to do about it? And then she's like, you know.
Yeah.
And be tough about it. And he's like, that's my girl. To the stars who listen, we'll see you next week.
See you next week.